before Mr. Speaker, seeking the House to allow me present a matter of urgent public importance on the urgent need for the federal government to intervene on the incessant xenophobic attacks of Nigerian citizens living in the Republic of South Africa and elsewhere across the world. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. Hon Bagos, do you have
all relevant rules to allow me to take these motions? I so submit, Mr. Speaker. 2008, at least 67 Nigerian citizens living outside the country died in what were identified as xenophobic attacks in the Republic of South Africa alone. In 2015, there was also a nationwide spike in xenophobic attacks against Nigerian citizens and other immigrant communities living in South Africa. These had been prompted a number of foreign governments to bring home their citizens living in South Africa. Also note that in the last 3 years, figures from civil society groups in South Africa and from members of the Nigerian community living in the country indicates about 127 citizens have fallen prey to xenophobic attacks and extrajudicial killings carried out by the South African Police Service, which is said to be responsible for the death of 13 of the originally identified 127. The House also observes that the death toll of Nigerians killed in South Africa has continued to rise with frequent xenophobic attacks and extrajudicial killings by the South African police services between 2018 and 2019, and have recorded such high-profile ones like that of Mr. Benjamin Okoronko, a driver from Ebonyi State, and one Mr. Abezem from Abia State. Aware that official statistics from South African authorities and the United Nations put the figures of Nigerians living in that country at tens of thousands. These people include professionals of all kinds, businessmen, students, and others. Also aware that the United Nations Charter on Human and People's Rights and African Union Convention and protocols to which both Nigeria and South Africa are signatory allow for legal movement of persons and goods across global and regional activities. Recalls that on August 29, 2019, the entire world began to witness yet another series of xenophobic attacks against Nigerian citizens and some citizens of other African nations living in South Africa. These attacks were noticed in areas of Johannesburg and Gauteng and have sadly continued under unfortunate watch of the South African security agents and authorities. Concerned that this barbaric and inhuman treatment on Nigerian citizens and other Africans living in South Africa who are carrying out their normal businesses and other activities have become one too many in recent years, and therefore may continue to escalate if nothing urgent, definite, and decisive is not done to completely put an end to it. The House resolved to mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs to interface with the federal government on how to bring lasting solution to the series of xenophobic attacks on Nigerian citizens in South Africa and elsewhere across the world. 2, mandate the Committee on Foreign Affairs to investigate the immediate and remote causes of the present xenophobic attacks on Nigerians in South Africa, including its fallout, and report cases of other reprisal attacks on some identified businesses linked to South Africa in Nigeria. 3, the House should observe 1 minute of silence in honor of Nigerians killed abroad as a result of xenophobic attacks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
My name is Idem Unyime, member representing Ukanafun, Urowonam, Federal Constituency of Akwa Ibom State. I rise this morning to second the motion as moved by my neighbor and colleague, Honorable Bagos. I so second.
Those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Bagos, you may lead the debate, please.
Jos East Federal Constituency from the great, wonderful state of Plateau State that Surulere want to copy. Mr. Speaker, sir, we started this morning, which you all asked us to read out the pledge. And as Nigerians, we have pledged, and as honorable members, we have pledged to protect the integrity of this country. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, what has happened in South Africa in recent days, it's an issue that Nigeria and Nigerians and the Nigerian government should not take it for granted. We all know that we are being called giants of Africa. But sir, honorable colleagues, what we see outside the country and how Nigerians are being treated outside Nigeria does not show that really we are giants of Africa. Because we are being looked otherwise, we are being looked with different names, we are being looked as people that don't have the strength to stand for one another. If we check the population, that 1 out of 4 every African in the world, 1 is a Nigerian. But what has been our strength as a country? What is it that we can show that really, if Nigeria sneezes, Africa catches cold? We have not yet really demonstrated that, and it's time for this House to stand up and show the world that we are our brother's keepers. If somebody like Malema in South Africa can speak against his people for doing what they have done, I believe that this House can stand for other Nigerians outside the country. And it's very important that we should look at this issue very well, and especially what happened still in South Africa in Gauteng, where they call it the city of gold, and what happened to Nigerians in that very place is very pathetic, Mr. Speaker. It's very important that as Nigerians, we should be able to look at our bilateral relationship with other countries. It's time that the House asks the executive to review our bilateral relationship with other countries, because we will not sit down and Nigerians are treated anyhow in other countries and we do nothing. So today we know how difficult it is for a Nigerian to go and get a US visa. Even some members here are being rejected US visa. And Nigerians are treated in different ways and different manners in other countries. It is time that we should look at our bilateral relationship with other countries. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I call on the House to really look into this issue so that our bilateral relationship with other countries would be stiff. And not only that, so that tomorrow when we stand as giant of Africa, tomorrow when we really sneeze, other African countries will catch cold. By this, Mr. Speaker, whatsoever we are doing, will not go in vain. And by this, Mr. Speaker, and all our relatives and other Nigerians that we are representing that are in other countries, they will stand tall as Nigerians. They will not hide because they believe that the House of Representatives, the National Assembly, is standing for them. I call on the House of Representatives, ably led by you greatly, that we should stand for our brothers and sisters out of the country, just like you have started. Honorable colleagues, Nigerians are calling on us to show the strength of who we are as the giants of Africa. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.